Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. How we all doing, ladies and gentlemen, tonight? Welcome to our meeting. It's February 10th, 2026. As we move on here at the Pledge of Allegiance, and we need to get approval of the agenda for this evening. There are no amendments. All right.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the agenda for this evening. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All right, there are no public hearings tonight. On the consent agenda for this evening, we have the approval of the minutes from the regular council meeting held on January 13th, 2026, the approval of claims to be paid, and the approval of a special event permit for the annual St. Patrick's Day Parade requested by the Leesburg County St. Pat's Committee. So we need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. All right. Moving on to public comment. If anybody from the public has any petitions, requests, comments, or communications, please come up to the podium, state your name and address, and keep your comments to 3 minutes, please. Doesn't look like there's anybody here. Thank you. We have no presentations tonight, no old business. We need to move on to new business, discussion for a Highway 99 detour for the MnDOT project. They want to get this started out in advance. This starts on page 17. So with this discussion, the MnDOT gave us two routes that were thinking. They have one that when you're coming in from the east on Highway 99, you take a north on County Road 5 all the way to 26 and then back over to 15 into Cleveland. The second one would bring traffic all the way into town to Cordova, north on Cordova till you hit Minnesota Street, west till you hit Maple, and then back south back to 99. City Administrator Evans, I'll just kick this off. I would personally, the in-town, I wouldn't personally do. One, safety with people. There's going to be hundreds of cars going through town, semis, and then those semis making those turns in town. There's gonna cause I think a lot of damage to curbs, sidewalks. I think it would be really rough going through there, especially with parking through that Minnesota Street on there as well.
Yeah, I was wondering how they're gonna do it when they're working on those intersections anyways.
I was going to wonder that myself.
I don't think that that's the best route there. On page 18 with that red ink there, I don't, to be honest with you, I don't care for that one much either. And I know these are the only two that were sent to us, but that brings a lot of traffic a lot further away from town than I'd like. But from 5 to 15, you have Highway 24 yet. Is that an option that they would be willing to entertain, or is that something they couldn't do?
I will ask about that option.
I mean,
That would make a lot more sense.
Chief Overn, do you?
My only opinion on why they're skipping 126, which turns into County Road 24.
Thank you. The stop signs?
I would guess. I have no inside information, but I'm assuming they're trying to keep traffic moving.
Gotcha.
And it's not rated weight difference.
I'm not sure what the weights are.
Yeah, I can inquire, this is just preliminary discussions, obviously, we're not taking any votes on this, but they did give us an option to kind of flush us through and discuss it. I know myself, Steinborn, we kind of discussed it too, and we ultimately agreed going out of town was likely a safer option. One of the aspects I'm looking at is residents on those streets and how hard that is, and also deterioration of roadway, running all that unnecessary tractor trailer traffic on that. The idea about, in my viewpoint, is going outside of city limits is that's just where you run your detour. But the fact that we know that vehicles and traffic can get through in the center, and if they have business to do out there, obviously encouraged to go through the center. You know, that's kind of the two coins that people can look at as saying, well, you're not getting any business in town, but you would obviously want to encourage that if they wanted to, you know, patronize the center to still come, that they can still get through. But kind of that just through traffic, that true through traffic, that would, you know, go outside.
Would also, 11 to Dodd.
Yeah, County Road 2
So that
to,
was even 2 to 5 or.
Yeah.
But, yeah, for most locals, and I don't mean just Lee Center people, but like, you know, Montgomery, Cleveland people, they're gonna know that I don't have to take this detour. I can come in, cut up a gravel road, come around the other way.
Yep. Yep. So I can get in touch with Barbara again and ask about a couple other alternatives. That the general consensus is to go outside of the city, but are there any other options? And then get some feedback from there.
Well, and the other thing too, if they were gonna bring them right into Maple,
would it be 2 to 11?
if they're gonna, like the one option where they brought them into Maple, went downtown, wouldn't you be better off taking them and going out to 110 and coming back in 11? Take them on a gravel for 2 miles? Then run them down Main Street?
Yeah,
But then again,
you want to run them on a gravel. Yeah, the option not to.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts?
Question?
I was just thinking that, you know, if they were looking at alternative run through town from Cleveland, isn't it 2 that comes out of Cleveland to 11?
Yeah,
And then you
That's
come,
what
yeah,
I was saying. That's
yeah,
what he was saying.
yeah. You come up to Casey's and
A little bit of in town if needed for business or whatever.
yeah, because you're gonna have to keep the intersections open for emergency vehicles anyways. You know, those.
Right over.
I would make, like you said, present to them outside of town. If there are any other routes that would bring vehicles closer to town, that would be nice, but outside of town, it would be best for safety and maintenance. All right, moving on to new business, letter B, approval of resolution number 2026C, a resolution accepting quotes and authorizing roadway improvements via direct negotiation. This is for the projects in town that we did approve a while back for the seal coating and reclaiming. Right?
Yeah, this one's a little bit more in depth. This is reclaiming, grading and paving with an asphalt layer. And again, did do a map here. This is just West Industrial, so the highlighted yellow area there. This is a part of the 2026 approved capital improvement plan. Dan Steinborn has gone out for 2 quotes, has received those back, and we've got WW blacktopping at 137.5 and M&W blacktopping at 190,050. So the lowest responsible quote there is from WW blacktopping. So this resolution would just authorize the work to be done and going with WW blacktopping.
And what, do you remember what we had budgeted for that? 138. Okay. Nice, good job.
But there could always be some, you never know when they
Correct,
take the blacktop.
correct.
That's what we get in the budget.
And we did have a contingency established as a 10%. So if it did go above that, we could have authorization from staff to do so. Because like Dan said, you never know when you start getting into a roadway.
Was that 5, 6 inches of
So we put in 5, yeah.
5? What is that? Do you know what that compares to as far as the county road that's out in front of there? Yeah. 1 inch.
Probably, if we had that road, that could be more. Yeah. Maybe 6.
All right. Any other questions? If no other questions, we'll need a motion to approve resolution number 2026C.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2026C.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All right, moving on to new business letter C. Approval of resolution number 2026D, a resolution designating official depositories and authorizing signatories for city accounts. This came about because there was former Mayor Frederickson was still on our signing, being able to sign. We
This
can.
is on one of the accounts at
One of the
First
accounts.
National.
So we're taking that off, and this, making sure myself, Mayor Pro Tem, Robert Emmers, and City Administrator Dan Evans are on that. Will this be something that will be, normally done every year?
It'll only
Every
be done-
change?
It'll only be done if the mayor and mayor pro tem change or city administrator change.
Okay.
So I'll just monitor that. This is
Okay.
resolutions that the auditor put together for us because to get someone off signature in a bank, they need to see in the minutes, and they recommended doing a resolution. Keeps it a little bit easier to track with the removal and adding signatories. So
Any questions? No questions? All right, then we need a motion to approve resolution number 2026D.
Make a motion to approve resolution number 2026D.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. All right, moving on to approval, letter D of new business. This is the approval of the 2026 Lee Center Area Fire Commission Fire Service Contract, which it has been the same for the past couple of years now, I believe. There's been no changes with that. And that sits at $84,500. Are there any questions about the Lee Center Area Fire Commission Fire Contract?
I'll make a motion to approve the 2026 Lee Center Area Fire Commission Fire Service Contract.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Next, we also have the approval of the 2026 Lee Center Volunteer Ambulance Service Contract. I don't believe this changed. I was not
I don't
part of
believe
this one.
it didn't.
It didn't change.
Yeah, there was
Okay.
nothing with
It
that.
doesn't appear that it has been passed out.
Okay. Are there any questions with this? No? All right. Then we need a motion to approve the ambulance agreement.
Make a motion to approve the 2026 Lee Center Volunteer Ambulance Service Contract.
Second. We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. All right. All right, moving on to reports of departments and organizations. Starting with planning and zoning. Mr. Block, how are we doing?
Good. Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Sure.
Gonna sound like a broken record, but we should have officially a meeting coming up soon. We should end up having a PUD application coming in. In the meantime, we need to update our PUD ordinance to get that accomplished. So that is in the works. We've been working with the new city contractor to get the language drafted, and now we'll have to review it and then call for public hearing and proceed.
That's all you got?
That's all I have.
That's all you got.
Unless you've got questions.
Any questions? No questions?
Thank you.
Thank you, Bert. Liquor store report, Ms. Bickla.
Good evening.
Hello.
Our January 2026 sales were $94,829.86. As you can see below, it was an increase from January of 2025. Our December gambling was $6,978.28. At the time, we did not have our CNN sales. However, that came in around like the 800, 900 mark again. So below, you can also see our revenue sources for January 2026. We had a pepper tournament, live music, dart tournament, soup contest, football drawing, inventory, and new tenant. Kind of our updates for January. February, we had a band this past Saturday, which went over really well and lots of compliments. Sunday, oh, that's not right. Excuse me. Sunday, February 22nd, we have summer karaoke. This Sunday, we'll have our staff Christmas party. We'll be closing at 4 p.m. And then Friday, February 20th, we have live music by Drake Walters. And Saturday, February 28th, we have a pepper tournament and live music by Sheldon Brandt. Any questions?
Questions?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Becky. Moving on, police report, Chief Holborn.
Good evening, all. Calls for January 2026, 168 calls for service. It's about 3% on par as 2025. One thing I do want to touch on is I was approached tonight, and I've been approaching the public about the public nuisance properties. It's a slow process getting them cleaned up, as Attorney Moran can attest. It's on a weekly basis. We're going back around all these properties, taking pictures, monitoring progress, and then Jason's dealing with them, Attorney Moran's dealing with them in the court system. So this is not a overnight fix. These people get citations, and it's their due process to contest everything, which I'm assuming they're doing if you're asking.
9 times out of 10 not, actually. No, we've gotten a decent amount of cooperation, believe it or not. The hard thing with nuisance properties, of course, is once you finally get them cleaned up, about 8 months later, they're right back at it.
Right.
You know.
So we were lucky this winter with the small amount of snowfall that we had, that we are still, Kevin is still out working those nuisance properties, and they are being tended to, so. It's a hot topic in town. We had leash laws.
Bad.
Lee Center had not in the past really enforced these except on a complaint by complaint basis. And now we're being a little more progressive with that because we did have some properties that were in terrible shape. And frankly, the 2 worst ones, I think we've gotten cleaned up pretty good. Time will tell if it stays like that. And then we have, a handful of what I'm going to call habitual violators, where we hope to achieve some semblance of some cooperation.
Other than that,
If they don't cooperate, we do have a place to put them.
lots of rules.
What can be done beyond ticketing? If they're paying tickets and stuff, what's the next step?
Probation. Typically, we put them on probation for a year or 2. With the understanding that if they violate probation, then the next step, frankly, is jail. And I have put several people in jail for nuisance property. Now, usually it doesn't get to that point, but I mean that is a logical progression. We start out with a fine, probation, and if they don't comply, then jail is definitely on the table.
I think that statement really attests to how difficult it is to get certain people to work with law enforcement and the attorney's office with cleaning their property, where they actually essentially choose to go to jail over cleaning their property up.
Nuisance properties are one of the most difficult things to deal with. Nuisance properties and hazardous property. Really even more so than a nuisance property. Hazardous property, you can come in and demo it. city's gotta pay for it, of course, but I mean, hazardous properties aren't really too bad of an issue to deal with. It's the nuisance properties. Nuisance properties, of course, you know, a lot of times you're dealing with multiple different factors. You're dealing with abject poverty, potentially disability, and then coupled occasionally with some mental illness, where, you know, they look at it and they just don't see it as a problem, or they physically can't clean it up, or they don't have the money to haul the stuff off and take care of it. So it's, nuisance properties are very difficult to deal with. And I will say that Kevin is doing an excellent job with it. I mean, Kevin stays on top of this. If I need an inspection, he's got that inspection done usually that day. And he takes kind of a soft and gentle approach at first, try to achieve compliance. And I got to say that Kevin is doing a very good job with it.
Good. That's good.
Anything else?
Training or not yet with the new guy, still backgrounding?
Background. We got 2 part-timers, but they're ready to go for the most part.
Anybody, we're not up to 4 yet for full-timers, no?
Got 1 in background for that, but that could take anywhere from 3 to 6 weeks, depending on how busy the applicant is, how busy the investigative company is, and then cooperation from all the previous employers and achieving background, getting backgrounds that they've had done in the past. So I had submitted that on, I think, last Monday, and I haven't heard from Crescent yet, so.
Okay.
They usually give me a Friday update, so I'm expecting this Friday I'll get something.
Is this someone that's experienced or is it new, young?
The full-timer he's got 6 months experience, in a bigger department, much bigger, 40,000 people, I suppose. But the good thing is our RMS system, records management system, is the same one that he used at his previous employer, which is usually a pretty big hiccup with training people when it comes to computers and you know, writing tickets and doing the reports and things of that nature. So he's already got that down. And he's got good experience in those 6 months at the previous employer. Is probably more calls than he's gonna get here in 2 years.
Okay.
Thanks.
Good.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, Public Works, Mr. Steinborn.
Mayor, I don't have much for you, but I did confirm the date for the UI cleanup is April 18th, 8 till noon. Skate rink is getting tough with the warmer weather. Supposed to be really warm this weekend. We may have to just close it. May get some cold to get it back going again, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Don't look too good right now. Other than that, any questions?
Nope. Any questions?
Thank you.
Take it in. Administrators reports. Administrator Evans.
We just wrapped up with our field work for our audit here at the end of January. That went pretty good. What we're finding is the GASB standards, the Government Accounting Board standards, are increasing, and they do every year. So there's a lot more strain on staff to answer questions like very, things that they kind of look past, maybe in past audits, but they really want to know now, like budget deviations and net position deviations and why they are that way. So I'm having to get a lot more kind of creative and look back in 2025 and compare it to even 2024. And their GASB standards really want to see you kind of articulate that and write it out. So it's thorough, it's encompassing, and it should be. But as I've noticed my time here, the audits are becoming more and more difficult. And that's not going to change. I think they're going to continue to become more stringent as more standards come down. But we got through it. So we'll look to have them do our final financials, and then they'll give us a summary like they normally do here kind of in the middle part of summer, kind of give the council an update on how 2025 went. Our EDA survey, we decided to push it back another week, so that ends Friday. I don't have updated numbers for you, but I was able to talk to Jim there, and he said with the low participation, we should likely just push it back a week, and we try to promote it again, on the Facebook pages, hopefully get some more people, tuning into that and completing that survey. Like Corey said, we're, right in the midst of looking over new, ordinance recommendations for the planned unit development or the PUD, for a potential kind of subdivision that we're working with Jim with, South Central Service Cooperative with. So we're continuing to work through that and hopefully we'll get a public hearing, through planning and zoning on the books for that. So that's kind of all I'm, in a nutshell, what I'm working on.
Staying busy then.
Oh,
All right, any questions for Mr. Evans? No questions? All right. Let's go to the Lee Seward County Commissioner updates from Commissioner Preisler. How we doing?
Good. Good. Mayor and Council, just a couple of quick things. We'll be hearing have a public hearing in front of the county commissioners on the new comp plan on the 17th. So that'll come up here hopefully next week. We also are going to hold a public hearing in March. That will be on March 19th. That will be in the evening to talk about this whole issue of shotguns and rifles for deer hunting. So have got a strong opinion on that. We welcome you to come to that hearing, and we'll see where that ends up going. So, legislature starts next week, and I know I'm already slated to be up there for a few days in the beginning, and be up there a few other days working on various issues that affect the county government. Specifically, we'll see how that ends up going. It should be an interesting session this year, to say the least. Also, just to follow up on the discussion you had earlier on the detour, we have not had any direct discussion with MnDOT on the detour going on the county roads. Our county engineer may have, but we have not had those discussions yet.
he did.
Okay.
It was his general recommendation too, to me when we were conversating about it, to go on those thoughts on film.
Okay, perfect. And then last thing, just to let you know, we are in the process of finishing up our 5-year capital improvement plan. We should have that wrapped up in the next 30 days or so, and maybe even by the next meeting. But anyway, I'd say that the big take home from that is in that 5-year plan, we have no planned borrowing or bonding for the capital improvement plan for the next 5 years. So we're not looking to take on any debt on those. So that's highlights of where things are at right now. Any questions if people got? Go ahead.
Where is that hearing on 19th and what time?
It's at 6:30 in the evening, and it's at the Emergency Operations Center, so that lower level of the Justice Center.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Any questions?
All right.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Preisler. All right. Moving on to other business, council reports. Anybody have anything, committees to present? Nope. All right. And then also city offices will be closed February 16th in observation of President's Day. So can't get stuff done that day then. All right. Next, we will be going into a closed session. So we need a motion, correct?
Correct.
So at 7:29 here, we need a motion to close or go to closed session.
I'll make a motion to close the meeting to go to the closed session.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
All right, the city council just returned to open session. We did conduct the annual review of the city administrator closed session, and I believe I speak for the council when I say that the city administrator is doing an absolutely excellent job. We met all goals and expectations, and we're headed in the right direction. If I'm mistaken, someone thinks they're right.
Nope.
That's what we discussed.
It's good. Again, Dan, thank you for everything you've done for us this past year and continuing forward.
Absolutely.
If that's it. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.